Welcome everybody, and today for this month of May we're going to be doing a bit of a special series of films. So it's going to be called Monster Mayhem. Hope you get the pun. So yeah, we're going to be looking at films that have monsters in them of all shapes and sizes, whether or not they're going to be massive creatures or purely because it's got the word monster in the title. We're going to look at several of those kind of films, and the first of which is 1959's The Giant Behemoth. So this is directed by Eugenie Laurie and Douglas Hitchcock in a co-directorial effort. So Laurie also did The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms and Gorgo, which are obviously quite similar to this, first of which came before and second of which came out after. And Douglas Hitchcock also did Theatre of Blood, really rather fantastic horror film with Vincent Price. So this is a monster film, and depending on which version you see or will have seen when it came out on release, you either got the US cut, which is 80 minutes long, which is the version we have on this Blu-ray, or there was a UK cut that either was 69 to 71 minutes long, depending on the censored version would be the shorter version, and the slightly longer version was the 71-minute version. So yeah, this stars the likes of Gene Evans, who I've seen in 14 other films. He was great in the likes of Ace in the Hole, Shot Corridor, The Steel Helmet, last two of those being directed by Samuel Fuller and Nevada Smith. And finally, it also stars Andre Morel, who I've seen in 18 other films. He was alongside Peter Cushing in the likes of The Hound of the Baskervilles and Cash on Demand, as well as A Shadow of the Cat and 10 Rillington Place. So marine atomic tests caused changes in the ocean's ecosystem, resulting in dangerous blobs of radiation and the resurrection of a dormant dinosaur which threatens London. So despite this being a clear attempt to imitate the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which is evident from the same co-director, same director that was co-directing this, as well as other similarities such as the plot, with the dormant dinosaur being awoken due to atomic testing. There's also similar shots and characters, along with even the means of dispatching the creature all generating a sense of deja vu, quite frankly. So, yeah, that ultimately means that this isn't anywhere near as good as The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, which is still probably one of my favourites from this, from the 50s in terms of these kind of atomic creature films. I'd say it's about on par with lots of Gorgo. Although I would say Gogo probably has a more entertaining final act. But that said, even though the budget, which was apparently quite sizable, not being put to the best use, as yeah, the budget for this was apparently around 3 times larger than The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Now, granted, there is a 6-year difference, but yeah, there is still quite a large difference in budget there, and yeah, it just doesn't seem to have been put to the best use. I ultimately can't say that I hate my time with this, even while enjoying most of it, despite its obvious flaws. The acting is good. The build up to the inevitable monster attack in the final act is really well done. It doesn't reveal its hand too early, has some decent tension throughout. It is well paced, and though the final act with the rampaging monster is somewhat underwhelming, there's only one London landmark that the creature destroys, and that's London Bridge. Doesn't touch Big Ben or the Tower of London or Tower Bridge or anything like that. It's just that one bridge that even then it only destroys by accident as it falls through it, and which is ultimately thanks to the budget and technology of the time. It is nonetheless still a reasonably fun final act. Does actually destroy perhaps a little bit more than the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms in its initial rampage, although the way that the creatures are dispatched, I'd say the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms has the better ending in that regard, with the roller coaster scene with all of the fire going on and such, whereas this mostly takes place underwater for that final act. But the Giant Behemoth definitely destroys more generally. Destroys a couple of cranes, destroys a building, obviously destroys a few cars, goes through London Bridge, and yeah, more people also do die in this than in Beast from 20,000 Fathoms as well, which is primarily due to the fact that it has a really rather after effect of its presence being emitting huge doses of radiation, which burn people alive and cause a great deal of pain to people in terms of skin burns, even if they do survive. So yeah, it does kill a lot of more people, that's for sure, and no one is really safe in this either, as a couple of children even get caught up in the way as well. So yeah, overall a decent effort, but by no means a great one. So yeah, it's going to get 3 out of 5. If you're into your 50 sci-fi, then you'll know what you're getting in for this, to be honest. A lot of scientific talk, not much in the way of action until the final act, or at least the final half. But if you have tolerated, worse films than this, or even some better films, then I'm sure you'll get something out of this. And yeah, as a massive fan of 50 sci-fi, this is still right up my street, and it's actually one of the few stop motion animated films in the 50s that wasn't directed by wasn't involving Ray Harryhausen. So yeah, it is overall really rather solid. So yeah, there's the disc. I think it's Willis O'Brien does the stop motion effects. So he obviously worked on King Kong back in '33. Would also work on the likes of Mighty Joe Young in 1949 alongside Ray Harryhausen. Um, but yeah, it's not his finest work. I would say The Black Scorpion from the same decade is probably slightly better in that regard, but it's still overall decent in terms of that regard. Overall, even if you can still see some of the you know the limits of its production value. And in terms of extras on this disc, you've also got a commentary by veteran special effects creators Dennis Muren and Phil Tippett. And then you also have a theatrical trailer on top of that. So, yeah, I would say this is well worth picking up. Now, it is part of the Warner Brothers Archive Collection series. Came out in 2018, so it is quite old. I did have to buy this, obviously, second hand. I've also got it alongside the Black Scorpion and a couple of others, I believe, a while back. So yeah, but it's still well worth seeking out, even if you can't buy it yourself. Just rent it, and yeah, you'll hopefully have some enjoyment out of it. But yeah, there's no way near this level of destruction that is shown on the poster there. As I can see, Big Ben is getting destroyed. That doesn't happen. Although he does, Eugenie Laurie eventually does do that with Gorgo, which is why that film is probably the more entertaining one in terms of the final act. But yeah, this is still solid enough, and at the end of the day, you can appreciate the hard work that goes into doing stop motion animation, because every frame has to be shot and then move into the next frame, and you have to do that, and you can understand why you wouldn't have a lot of stop motion animation when it takes so long to do it. I mean, I think it took 6 months to do the stop motion animation work for the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, so you can see why it's limited in this film, and then why Gorgo would go on to doing its action with the kind of suit work that you see in like the Godzilla. So yeah, but nonetheless, if you have seen the giant behemoth, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.